a shoot at me. And as long as we can recognize that, irrespective of what you felt about what the man said.
Yeah, but but you're missing my point, right? My point is that a group of people did not shoot Charlie Kirk. One guy did.
We don't know that, Daryl. Hold on. We don't know that. And that's actually what's being investigated as we're speaking, as to whether this was a whole group that had notice and what the involvement was of the group he was in that channel with. We really don't know, and you don't know if there's accessories before the fact, accessories after the fact. You just don't know everyone that's implicated in it.
Hold on.
I just want to say one thing, Daryl.
Go ahead, Scott.
For the record, Charlie Kirk also said about someone who was assassinated, he was awful, not a good person. That person was Martin Luther King Jr. He said that December 2023 at an event hosted by Turning Point Political Rally. Said King, who was assassinated, was awful and not a good person. So, he said that about people that were assassinated.
My thing is I'm trying to use very specific words, right? I'm not talking about, a group of people who conspired. And I'm saying one bullet, as far as we know right now, one bullet killed Charlie Kirk, and that one bullet was fired by one person, unless there were 15 hands on the rifle. So one person who we seem to believe is in custody is the one who fired the bullet that killed Charlie. It does not mean that to the people who Kirk may have offended or insulted or, made disparaging comments about, you can't tell people how to feel. Like if you had a neighbor, right? If you had a neighbor who always made noise or who just would tell you that, come out of the house and piss on your lawn and turn your lawn yellow, and something happens to your neighbor, you don't want that to happen to your neighbor. But let's admit that human beings are human beings, and human beings dislike other human beings. It's not fair. This is just me. It's not fair to tell people what to think and feel, and just start taking stuff off the internet, because that is how conspiracies come to be. All of these sites that are now scrubbing all these really nasty things that Charlie Kirk has said are being scrubbed from the internet, and I would personally like to know why. And I will say again, like I've said, hold on, for the past 2 days, before June, I had never heard of this guy. I had never even heard of him. I've got no dog in this race. It's funny what is happening, and what is happening is only going to lead to more anger on both sides. That's just my opinion.
I think Beaver came up, wanted to speak. Beaver, do you want to say something?
I'm wondering these nasty things. I don't have any problem with what he said about the pilot thing. If he's talking about the context of DEI, and if those programs were pushing people, I think it was all based on that presumption, like that hypothetical. If they're pushing people through that aren't qualified, and if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna wonder. That's a natural human thing to question.
But not everyone agrees, that Beaver, with the assumption that means the standard was lowered.
I guess you also
you have a flaw in your logic.
No, it's based on lowering the standard.
That there are black pilots, not only in commercial airlines, but there are black pilots in the military.
Correct.
Black people fly all the time. So when you say it's a natural human thing to wonder if a black pilot...
No, you're misunderstanding.
I'm not only telling you what...
Can you let him just finish for a second and then jump in?
No, I think Kirk was saying if the standards are lower based on DEI, then people will wonder, is this person qualified to fly me right now? And that in itself is a natural human thing to wonder. So I think things are being twisted, what he said. I think people are hearing words and phrases and then automatically saying, guy was a racist, he was a horrible person. But from everything that I've seen, all accounts are that he was a pretty good
Daryl, if you want to jump on this. After the Harvard decision came out on affirmative action and all the evidence and the arguments came out, and you saw how some of these students were getting accepted versus other students, you take a pause and you think, okay, I used to pay a premium for a Harvard graduate because I knew they were the best and the brightest in the country, but now the best and the brightest in the country were not going there. They weren't, that's not who they were educating. So if you're going to pay that premium, what are you getting on your premium? And that came out after that court case, that people were wondering, have these top universities wholesaled themselves in terms of the people that they're graduating, and are they graduating what had that extra premium you would pay for as an employer for the Harvard student. So what Beaver's talking about is one thing, but that definitely translated. It translated to law firms that were hiring out of Harvard Law. I mean, it just does. So whether you're hearing that or not, that part translated.
I want to make sure I understand. You're saying that the value of a Harvard law degree went down?
The value of a degree from the university went down when everyone heard the evidence on what their acceptance requirements were, and the idea that you got the best and the brightest in the country. You were not getting the best and the brightest in the country because they weren't accepting them. And that came out, if you followed that case and you followed the evidence that supported and why they won, you could see, and you could see what came out statistically and what they showed evidentially as they were arguing that case. That's why would I pay an extra $100,000 a year in salary to what I think I'm getting the top in the country, and they weren't educating the top in the country. They wouldn't accept them.
Okay, I got it. I just wanted to
Like it or not, Jane, that's.
I'm not liking it or not. I want to understand what you were saying. Thank you.
Well, I'm hearing a bunch of ifs. You know, Beaver just said 3 ifs, right? Like, if it's based on DEI. Beaver, do you have any actual information on the pilot training programs for any major airline?
No, but that's not necessary if you're just.
Okay, no, hold on. So what you did was you went from a three if statement to a then statement, right? So it's like, and yet it's not based on anything, but you said people sewing words together, right? These are not people sewing words together. These are things that he said. If you're going to say that something is a if or maybe or possibility, and it's not based on any information that you actually have, maybe you should go research it and see if these major airlines went out and changed their pilot training programs for DEI, because then if not, you're not standing on solid ground with your assumption. That's all I'm saying.
No, listen to what I said. If DEI across the board in America, where people are lowering standards, whether it's pilots or not, whether it's the Harvard case that was brought before the Supreme Court, where the Asians were having higher scores and metrics and getting denied. So the broader conversation in America, if these things are happening, okay, if it happens, if people throw out pilot a lot, okay, if people are being pushed through, I'm not saying they are or not. I'm saying that's what he was saying. If these things, then a pilot, I'm going to wonder if they're not there on merit, then am I in danger? I mean, it's just that basic concept.
What about the Asian thing? I mean, look, if we just, colleges aren't strict meritocracies, right? People without the highest GPAs get in all the time because they're in marching band, because they can play football. Because if we just went by grades, there would be no boys on campus, and girls that are heterosexual would have no one to date. There's DEIs for boys all the time because women want somebody to fuck that are straight. There's all kinds of stuff that colleges do, right, among qualified applicants to sort of make sure that the community is reflective of a certain kind of social environment. And it's interesting. I looked this up today for another conversation, but on the whole, college admission standards have gone down in the past like 12, 13 years for colleges in general. Elite colleges have gone up. Like Brown has gotten twice as selective over the past 10 years. And the Harvard admission rate is 3.8%. Okay, 3.8%. That's tougher. When I got into my doctoral program, PTS was one of the more competitive grad programs in the field. And they accepted 10%. 10% of the applicants got accepted into the program. Like 20 people a year. However it worked out, but like it was a very selective program. 10% was it. Harvard takes 3.8% of the applicants. That's extremely selective.
Scott, look at the evidence from the case. Look, don't blame the messenger here. I'm just telling you there was a fallout.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
read
that.
about it. You can
Abby,
ask. You can
Abby,
ask.
what I'm not
firms
saying,
like Stanton
Abby,
okay.
I'm not denying, Abby, that somebody got into Harvard, right? That if they admitted 2,000 students, that they did not admit the 2,000 best objective test scores and grades. I would completely acknowledge that. So would Harvard. But that's not what any college does, right? If it was a strict meritocracy, you'd have to not even look at names on applications.
Then go argue that with the hiring partners at the major.
Yeah.
I mean, again, don't kill the messenger. I'm just telling you that as a result of that case, it tainted the degree.
That may be the case. That may be the case. I mean, that may be the case. I don't know. I don't disbelieve that people might look at that case and think, what's Harvard degree? Or I'm just saying, it's extremely difficult to get in. And universities aren't meritocracies. All Ivy Leagues have legacy students, right? People whose parents are
they always had
mostly
legacy.
mostly white students, right?
Well,
that get in.
I mean, they always had legacy. That exists. I have a kid who's an Ivy graduate. I can tell you the whole process and going through it. However, again, don't kill the messenger. When the evidence came out, it tainted it. So what Charlie, I was interesting how Beaver said that, because I haven't heard the recording. I'd like to hear it and hear his words. When did he say it? Where do I find it?
About Joe Biden. About Joe Biden should be
that one, and also the one.
Yeah, Abby, just Google Charlie Kirk, Joe Biden, death penalty. It'll come right up. It comes on video with captions.
Okay.
I mean, it's not hard to find. Yeah.
Anyway, Daryl, I understand what you're saying. And it's not that people have to like the message. Again, I think the message is the outrage of assassination. And that's got to be the message from both sides, constantly, and like driven home.
If I can just address
Go ahead, Arthur.
Beaver really quickly, just about the pilots and DEI. That's DEI is lowering the standard, expanding this who's getting interviewed. Simply, that's all it is. DEI is not lowering the standard. It's just making sure that more people get interviewed for the job in that land.
Let's examine that from a critical thinking point of view really quickly, if I may. So you're saying that DEI only has to do with interviews and has nothing whatsoever to do with hiring. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Now, hold on. No. Wait a minute, please. Wait. Hello. I'll give you a chance to respond. Do you have any evidence that says DEI only applies to interviews and does not apply to hiring? What evidence do you have, if any?
Well, how do you separate the two?
No. No, sir. If I may.
Question.
And you're not answering. Sir, you're not answering it. You're not answering the question. The question is very simple. It's really yes or no. Do you have any evidence? Now you can say, Steve, I don't have evidence, but this is what I think. Or Steve, I don't understand what evidence is. But your response was, how do you distinguish between the two?
If you want a link, I'll give you a link.
No, sir. I don't want it. Sir, the answer is, I don't want a link. I don't want to be, and you might not have been here a half hour ago when we were talking about Charlie Kirk having debate with college students, and they were constantly looking at their phone. I don't want to look at a link. I want to hear it from you.
Okay, what evidence would you like me to present to you?
I will answer that, sir. I will answer that, sir. No.
Steve, let me answer.
Sure.
Steve, all I'm saying is, if yes, I can present evidence, I can say these things, but that's just me saying it. It's not bringing facts to the table. But I can say yes, and then you can just accept that. Yes.
I'll rephrase my question. Can you bring any evidence to the table? No. Can you bring any evidence to the table that says that DEI only applies to interviews and does not apply to hiring?
Yes. How would you like me to present that evidence to you, Steve?
English. Let's hear it. Give me your studies. Give me your studies. Give me your statistics. Give me your sites. Let's hear it.
So you want the websites? You want the papers? How would you like me to get it? Want to email it to you?
He wants you in a conversation to be able to quote the source.
Quote the source. Thank you. Quote the source. That's what I want. Quote the source.
Okay.
Can you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the actual source so I can quote it to you because I don't have it memorized, Steve. It's not how I operate. So I'm going to get the information. I'll come back in a moment and I'll present you the source.
That sounds great. Take your time, and what I want you to do is someone is speaking, wait till they finish, and then say, Steve, I've got my sources. I want to tell them to you now, and we'll go ahead and we'll put you right to the front. You got it.
I've been Googling. Can someone help me with this? I cannot find that clip.
Well, I found a description of what DEI.
No, the clip about Joe Biden. I can't find it anywhere.
Sorry.
Norm, Norm, you missed it. She was at. Somebody spoke about 5-10 minutes ago about Charlie Clerk saying that Joe Biden. What was? I forgot. Something horrific.
Daryl, were you the one that had it? The quote.
Yeah, I'm doing something right now. I'll come back in a second.
Okay, and then if you could give it to me, I can find it.
I read you what ChatGPT tells us the DEI's hiring requirements are.
No, well, you can, Norm, if you want, but what I was asking, Arthur came up and made a point that DEI only applies to interviews. It has nothing whatsoever to do with hiring. So if what you found on ChatGPT addresses that, where it specifically says that DEI does not apply to hiring and only applies to interviews, go.
It says the opposite.
Thank you, Norm. That's what I thought.
So here are the key principles of DEI hiring. Diversity, actively seek out and hire individuals from various backgrounds, including different genders, ages, races, socioeconomic statuses, sexual orientations, and abilities. Equity, ensure that the hiring process provides fair access to opportunities for all candidates, regardless of their background. Inclusion, cultivate a welcoming and supportive company culture where all employees feel valued and respected, creating an environment where their unique perspectives are encouraged. Then there's a whole list of practical DEI hiring strategies.
Thank you, Norm. And by the way, I gave Arthur complete license whenever anybody is finished speaking. If he could find the exact opposite, break in and give me his sites. Thank you.
Well, then there's constant checking of, hang on, there's constant, wait, I want to use their words, constantly analyzing DEI metrics to drive improvement.
Thank you. And by the way, all of the critical thinkers out there will notice I never said word one about whether or not I'm in favor or against DEI. The only thing I've said was it absolutely applies to hiring and does not only apply to interviewing. That's all I said.
And I'm asking to see that video because I can't find it, and it's confusing. If you said it was scrubbed, and then you said it's just easy Google, I can't find it. So it's one or the other.
Well, I just came up. I'm getting ready for something, so I can't be in here long. But something became very clear to me as I was listening to this conversation, right? And it's that we all may have different ideas about what constitutes a racist statement. I believe that if you see a person and presume that their capabilities are somehow compromised because of the color of their skin, that is a racist statement to me. And it's possible that the reason that we're not finding common ground is because we have different definitions of the term racist. And so, in a way, these conversations end up feeling kind of futile because, like, the idea, I think that is an outrageous statement to make. And maybe we'll disagree about, we can't get to a space of agreeing about how people want to think about and reflect on this time in history, because we want permission to feel and justification to feel that racist tropes, racist statements are okay. And oddly enough, I will fight for you to have the right to do that. You can feel however you choose to feel. I think where this goes wrong is when people try to talk other people out of how they feel. I don't get on a plane and say, wow, this guy is a white guy. I wonder if he's a school shooter. I wonder if that would be outrageous. I wonder if his kids are, that would be outrageous, because it's making a decision about an entire group of people based on their race. Now that may not matter to you. That may not offend you. You may not be disturbed by that. You may not agree that that is a racist statement. So can we just agree to disagree? This thing that we're doing of like this cleansing, this redaction it's bizarre. Just say it with your whole chest. Just say it with your whole chest. Just do it and be out and proud and loud and just stand by it.
I will say it.
If it wasn't
nigga,
so...
I will say it, nigga. I will say nigga.
There we go. Thank you so much. You proved my point. That's exactly that's where we are. Like, if that's how you feel, if that's what you think, just own that. Harvard has 40% legacy admission. 40% legacy and athletes. Are you kidding me? That means, like, when you look at Yale, you think George Bush, you think, I could go down a whole list of people who are not mental geniuses. But we don't have any problem with those admissions.
Go argue that.
We're gonna
with
sit
your
here.
partners
The
to
answer
confirm,
was
Denise.
yes.
I just said, don't kill the messenger here. I'm just telling you the fallout.
Abby, you said when I heard you. I heard you what you said. You said there's always been legacy.
Yeah,
There's always
and I'm telling the thing you
legacy admissions are not a problem. Legacy admissions are not a problem. It's the 7 black people that got into Harvard.
With the
Listen. I didn't interrupt you. I sat and I listened to you. I'm speaking now.
Yeah, but don't put it in
That's
my
okay.
words because I was.
Tell you what, let's hey, hold on. Let's let Denise take as much time as she wants. And Denise, the only thing I'm going to ask, and I'm sure you can comply, don't quote Abby. Just say whatever you want to say in your own words. I'm sure you'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have to. We've established it. It's whatever. I just want us to listen. If you can't stand by the words you say, that's your problem. If you're not proud of the words that you say, that's your problem. If you revere someone and there's this effort to scrub every comment, listen, if you say he was a champion for his position, he was an aggressive, outspoken, there are a lot of things that you could say that are 100% true. I think that where we're having the problem is this campaign to persuade me that somebody that says when they see a black pilot, they're not sure if they're going to be safe on that plane is not racist. That is outrageous to me. That's an outrageous thing to say. So if you feel that, we're not going to be aligned. You're not going to convince me. You're not going to persuade me. So then what are we talking about? Just hold on to the beliefs that you want to hold on to, and I'll hold on to the beliefs that I want to hold on to. And we just agree to disagree.
And before we go to Abby and the new people that just came onto the stage, I just want to say for the record, for me, when I hop on the plane, the first thing I think about is how long has it been since the captain had a drink and did he get 8 hours of sleep last night? That's the only thing I give a shit about the captain or the guy that's flying or the gal that's flying my jet.
By the way, Uncle Steve, I got receipts.
Hang on.
In the
Oh
chat.
yeah, okay, Image, go ahead. Go ahead,
In the chat is the
No, please tell me, please. My eyesight sucks. Please tell me.
Okay, so I just posted a link to the video.
I don't care about the link. Just tell me what it says.
July 2023, where Charlie Kirk calls on his podcast for Joe Biden to be.
This is Reverend Scott. I'm sorry, Reverend.
Yeah. This is. I just posted the link to where Charlie Kirk says his own show, Joe Biden should be executed.
I posted it too. I didn't see that Scott had did it, but I posted the Reddit link too.
All right. So
I think it's interesting that Abby seems to be saying she couldn't find it, and yet I just Googled it again, and it's all
How
over.
old are you?
Why?
Because I'm a lot older and I'm not good with finding.
And she doesn't look it though, because I hung out with Abby in person, and she does not. She doesn't look. She looks like she could Google faster than a 35.
Thank you.
all right. So Abby, did you want to respond?
Yeah, just again.
Just do me a good favor. Just do me a huge favor. Don't quote any prior speakers. Just say it in your own words.
I'm specifically saying articles I read, talking to people in the industry, and the fallout was the fallout. I'm not promoting it. I'm just stating that was the fallout after that case. With respect to having natural biases, you want me to own one? When I go to the hospital, I get really happy if my doctor is a Jewish doctor. So there's an absolute bias. You can like it or not, I'm going to own it. Okay? It makes me feel good when that happens.
When Ronald Reagan was shot, he asked the doctor before he put him under anesthesia if he was a Republican.
Right. I mean, we all have our. So I never asked what the political party is of my doctor, but I definitely had a comfort if that's the case. So
You know what? You know what I ask when I see a surgical doctor? How many times before have you performed this procedure? That's what I ask. But nevertheless, Necro, have you spoken yet? JCS, have you spoken yet?
No, I haven't.
And okay, JCS, you're before him. Did you speak or did you want to?
I'm not done. One last thing. And the reason is because
go
I
ahead,
know
Abby.
what their mothers put them through. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, JCS and then Necro, I think, is the order, I think.
It's rare that I don't have something to offer, but much of what I said was in the chat throughout the duration of the conversation, so I'll just leave it there. I gotta go to the gym, but thank you.
All right, I show Necro and then Arthur, who we're waiting on, and then Alana. Hi, Necro.
Yeah, I just want to be clear about well, I just want to understand essentially what specific topic. Is it all mostly around Charlie Kirk and his legacy? Because I know that's been around for the past week.
Thanks. Anything else, or are you good?
Well, I just wanted to clarify that. Is that really what the subject is about?
The subject's about anything anybody wants to talk about. It's an after party. It's a popcorn.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, to me, since I heard about, it seems like there's been discussion about Charlie Kirk. I mean, to me, I ultimately see is like, you have a lot of people who have, of course, been putting about a lot of the, rhetoric that showed a lot of Kirk's controversial side, ultimately. And to me, and of course, you have Dwayne Johnson's daughter who made the claim that if you don't want people to say, nasty things about you when you're dead, then don't say nasty things while you're alive.
Yeah.
And so, to me, it's like, in general, I mean, I'm not a person who feels the impulses to do that, but I think all opinions are valid on the subject. But I think essentially the same people who want the legacy that Charlie Kirk was known for being a person who championed free speech, the greatest way they can insult his legacy is by, like I heard on the news the other day about a story. I mean, I haven't looked at the story, but I heard of like a guy who was apparently arrested for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, which, you might like. I mean, it's like as shit as you think it is.
He got arrested because he went and destroyed part of a vigil. There were people around it, and then there was a thing of like flowers, hearts, and notes. He probably got charged with destruction of property.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, that if that was the case, but I mean, regardless, I have heard people who have said that essentially that people should be in jail online. Like I've seen people on Facebook saying that people have should be in prison for celebrating his death. I mean, which is like, yeah, you can say it's shitty, but it's like it's still something that's protected under the First Amendment, like under free speech.
Yeah, and I'll give you my personal opinion, and again, I'm no lawyer, but where you cross over the line, you are absolutely allowed. Unfortunately, if someone died or was assassinated after the fact, you can say, I'm glad they were assassinated, I'm glad they're dead. That's protected. But once you advocate for assassinating or killing somebody in the present day or the future that's currently alive, that's where you step over the line.
Uncle Steve, let me tell you,
Yes.
Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, disagrees with you.
Really?
She single-handedly is overturning Skokie today and says that people will be going after it by the Justice Department for hate speech. David French, who knows this Constitution pretty well, said, this is crazy that hate speech, there's no hate speech exception in the First Amendment, but according to Pam Bondi, there now is. And as Attorney General, she said she will be enforcing.
Yes. However, we should clarify that hate speech does not require an element of inciting violence or breaking the law. For example, here's some hate speech for you out of my mouth. I hate the Nazis, and I wish that they will all be disbanded. that is hate speech that's protected. But if I say members of the Nazi Party should die or be assassinated, that's where I cross over the line from hate speech to inciting violence. And let's see, who hasn't spoken? We have Lana. Lana? Hi, Lana.
Oh, hi. How are you guys?
How are you, Lana?
I'm good. I'm from London.
Great. I'm from Los Angeles.
See, I love it. We're already connecting across the pond.
Great minds think alike. What would you like to contribute?
Do you know what? I'm grateful to find a room that, celebrates diversity and brings people together. And I'm finding, I'm Jewish. I'm living in London. I just came back from Israel. And I have experienced so much. I hate the word hatred, but there you go. I've had so much challenges in this country from before I left and since October the 7th and coming back from Israel and I'm quite a person that stands up and can, normally stands up and is celebrating who I am, and I'm a singer and I run live music nights, and I've never felt, I've never found it difficult to wear my Star of David or, my yellow badge about the hostages or anything like that. But actually, in the most recent times, I have found myself hesitate to say that I was in Israel or, and it's sad, and it's just felt like I'm just happy to be in a place that we can all be who we are and celebrate who we are and feel okay with it, because in the other rooms on Facebook, not Facebook, Clubhouse,
yeah,
I have felt like I have stood up and said who I am and who I think, but I've had so much hate thrown at me. So yeah, just nice to be here, but I didn't really catch exactly what the conversation was yet, so I'm just going to sit back and listen for a bit.
That's okay. And before we move on, thank you very much. And yes, when I hold, I encourage opinions from all sides of the coin, as long as you're respectful. And if you say something, and I'm not saying anybody has, but if you say something that is either completely stupid or ridiculous, I'm going to stop and call you on it. And by the way, most people do not hate me. Most people think I'm pretty reasonable. They like being in my rooms, with the exception of the Talking Apes. That's a group of people that absolutely hate me. But that being said, let's go to Susanna. Hi, Susanna.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
And by the way, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. So I already know definitely there's a lot of things that I disagree with some people here, but I also believe in free speech and peaceful thought. So disclaimer, I'm a conservative. But some of the reason why I feel just calling out Charlie Kirk as a racist for statements such as the pilot statement, if someone says, I think black pilots are not able to fly, I would agree. That's a racist statement. That would be abhorrent. But he didn't say that. He said, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to wonder if he's qualified. And there's a little nuance there. And the nuance is that he's not saying, oh, I think he can't fly because of the color of his skin. He's saying, I'm not sure if he can fly because people are getting jobs based on the color of their skin. And that worries me. I'd rather know that they're getting jobs. If DEI was not in play, then he wouldn't make that comment. And every single comment that I hear about him, that he's racist, if there's more context to it or you understand what he's talking about, I feel that it is pretty much unfounded. And I can see this because his best friend was Candace Owens. And then I also hear a lot of people go, oh, well, if you have a black friend, that doesn't mean you're not racist. And it's just kind of like, if somebody accuses you of something as heinous as racism or being a Nazi, then there's no way out of it. because you're like, oh, just because they do that good thing doesn't mean that they don't. Well, yeah, actually it does, especially when you don't have concrete evidence to show otherwise. But not only was he best friends with Candace Owens, he had her in prominent positions. They worked together, they traveled together, and it wasn't as if he had some sexual kink. They were friends. They were like brother and sister.
Sure, you're not thinking of Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro, she used to work for Ben Shapiro. She didn't work for Charlie Kirk.
Well, that's true too. Before Ben Shapiro,
She doesn't
worked
know
with
any real
Charlie
facts.
Kirk.
She's just here to express
No.
her feelings.
But that's not true. Both things can be true, buddy. Because one is true doesn't mean that the other is not. So it is a fact.
That's not what I said. What I said was, I think the thing you're talking about is not Charlie Kirk, because he didn't employ her in any positions. He certainly wouldn't set foot anywhere near her now. She has gone off the deep end.
Actually, that's not true. That's not true. You're misinformed.
She said Dr. Mengele's
All right, hold on. Everybody stop. Susanna, why don't you do us a favor? Because I would love to learn. Why don't you take a couple of minutes, if you're near a computer, and get some facts about him employing her? Because
well, let me just interject really quick. I didn't say employ. I said worked with.
Okay, worked with. Okay.
And yes, I can do that super fast.
No. There's a huge difference between working with and employ. Look, I work with Marshall on Clubhouse, but I've never employed him, and he's never employed me. So you're right, there is a difference. Yeah.
And they were best friends, and they traveled together. And he wouldn't do certain
I do
jobs.
want to mention this particular statement.
Sure.
She is noted, Owens, for saying Dr. Mengele's experiments are weird propaganda. She's also questioned the number of people that died in the Holocaust. The woman has jumped off the deep end.
Fair enough.
You don't say that. You don't align yourself with a white supremacist like Nick Fuentes by saying shit like that. And expect everybody to take you and expect everybody to take you as middle of the road in the Republican Party.
I don't know that he's aligned
also
with Nick
should be.
Fuentes.
It also should be stated that if someone says, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to wonder if they're fit, it's an incredibly bigoted statement. It doesn't matter that he might have influenced other things. That's super fucked up to say because of somebody's skin color, you're going to wonder if they're fucking qualified for a job.
But that's not why. That's not why.
No,
I was talking. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. The nuance.
That is, he said, I am on the Republican side. I think Charlie Kirk did an immense amount of good, but we're not going to play this game where Charlie Kirk says stuff like that, and we're going to try and reframe it since his death. No, he said it.
I'm not trying to reframe it.
I'd like to
You're wrong.
I'm not trying to reframe it.
And it is what it is.
He said it.
You're wondering about
He said it because,
and
also I wasn't done. Candace was first on the list.
pilot, and your rationale is some.
You're interrupting me, and you're talking over me. You interrupted me the first time around.
Yes, so I'm a moderator.
He's a moderator. So in response to the claim of the DEI speculation, right? Do we actually think that jobs that require an education, a qualification, and passing tests, that people get hired through the DEI system? However, that may be the case. They still need to be qualified to be a pilot, to be a doctor, to be an air traffic controller, right? So DEI might be a part of it. However, they still need to be qualified. Would you guys?
However, JCC, you may have missed the conversation between me and Arthur about 10 minutes ago. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay, let me just bring you up to speed because Arthur's been noticeably quiet since then. Arthur, I see you unmuting, so maybe you can.
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, let me just bring JCC up to speed. Arthur said that DEI only applies to interviewing and not to hiring. I vehemently disagreed. Norm then brought up the facts word for word. However, not only does DEI apply to hiring as well as interviews, but it applies specifically to hiring. But Arthur, you came off, so do you have anything that backs up what you're saying, that DEI only applies to interviews and has nothing to do with?
So, one of the things, Steve, is where it initially started, is that interviewing leads to hiring. So I was trying to say this is that they're linked together because you don't do one without the other, right? I'm not ignorant enough to understand that they don't coincide with each other, which is one of the things I was trying to actually get out of the beginning. They do work with each other, so I am in agreement with you that it's not what I was trying to actually, the nuance I was trying to say is that you are not required to hire someone because they are diverse.
Are you saying now that DEI applies to both interviews and hiring?
It is part of the equation. Yeah.
Fair enough. You know what? I agree with you. There you go. Simple.
We agree. We agree.
We agree. Let's. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's go on to Taro. Hi, Taro.
Hi.
Hi.
So I think if we actually do take more of like a critical lens to what's happening, should be able to see that like the Kirk situation has been misrepresented in media. We know that he used to distribute a hit list when it came to black and brown professors at various.
Wait, whoa. I don't know that. Do you have a copy of that hit list?
Yes, I do. 1 second.
Please tell us
It
who's
was
on it.
generated
Please.
by Turning Point?
No. I don't care who it's generated. I'm sorry.
No,
Go.
I'm
Someone else.
asking
No.
the hit list that you're talking about. Do you have it, something to show that it was generated by Turning Point?
Taro hopefully is going to get us the name of who's on the hit list and what the hit list stands for. I've never heard of this before. I don't know if this is a hit list.
There was a sort of naughty list. Like, I don't know exactly what the hit list, but like there was one black professor that was on it. Was Charlie Kirk said she's terrible. She's advocates these views that are liberal, and she would get these death threats and the C word and the black B word, and
again, everything's in context. ADL has a list of bad people that are anti-Semites, okay? So, can you put things in context?
Yeah. And I don't know that Charlie Kirk said she should be, attacked or anything, but she got death threats. She got terrible things.
Did he call for her to get death threats?
I don't think he called for her to get death threats. No. I do not think he did that. No. It's just
he just threw her on a watch list. Okay, so the watch list has terrorized legions. Yeah, it's terrorized legions of professors across the country, women, black faculty, queer scholars, basically anyone who challenged white supremacy, gun culture, or Christian nationalism suddenly found themselves targets of coordinated abuse. Some of these death threats, some of these people received death threats, some had their jobs threatened, some left academia entirely, others had I know somebody personally who had their office ransacked, and a lot of
who was organizing these ransacks and these death threats? Are you saying that his organization?
No, she's not saying.
No. She used the term organized.
No. I heard what she said, but let me see if I can put this in the right context. Taro, and again, this is the first time. Taro, are you saying this is a list of people that not only are strong influencers, but vehemently disagree with Kirk's position, and he's basically letting his followers know these are people that are speaking up against us? But Kirk did not say to go and ransack their offices. He said, you got to watch for these people because they disagree with our position. Or am I totally off base?
You're a little bit off base, but
okay.
You're kind of there, almost. Okay, so, I don't know how much everyone's, age kind of, affects their ability to, or their exposure, I guess, not ability, exposure to understanding the Groyper movement or the Nazi movement and other white supremacist gangs, how they have been.
Some of us do it for a living. We track it for a living.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So you would know that if you are looking into some of the places where Charlie Kirk would actually post in 4chan networks, etc., we know that he would put up a watch list.
Wait, say that again, what you just said?
Abby, a watch list is
Prior
what she
to
said.
that, she said pose? Is that the word
Post,
you used?
post. Abby, post a watch list. Go ahead, Taro. Go ahead.
Is my English difficult?
No. Taro, you're doing great. Taro, you're doing great.
I was afraid that maybe my English was a little bit.
Your English is perfect. Please continue.
Maybe I should slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to try and speak as slowly and comprehensively as possible. What would you like me to speak on?
Well, I'd like you to speak on anything that you would like to, unless you're finished for now.
Well, I think that my point, before I was interrupted several times and asked to provide evidence, which is weird because, like, Susanna said a whole bunch of things that were false and we didn't ask her for, but that's fine. Anyways, I think that if we use some critical thinking,
yes,
and we understand what makes up and constitutes a gang, we can understand that these white supremacist gangs, as they exist on the internet, in this meta space, is spilling over into physical spaces. This has happened before in history. Klansmen have been at the throats of other skinhead organizations, and this has just been a position that white supremacist organizations generally have. So they don't necessarily cooperate with one another. This is a common kind of position that exists with white supremacist organizations. Charlie Kirk, as somebody who was also a part of a white supremacist organization, is also a part of that.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that organization?
I think Turning Point USA was his organization.
Okay, I'm not aware that. Hold on. I wasn't aware that Turning Point was a white supremacist organization, but please continue.
Okay, well, I'm glad that I could be here to help.
May I ask you a question, Taro?
I tell you what, Abby, hang on, Abby. Go ahead, Taro.
Yeah, so I think if we understand, the position that Americans have around gang violence, we should also understand that this is not a political thing, because Americans don't believe that, we as, critical theorists would believe that gangs are very much a part of the political body as well, but Americans at large do not define gang violence as political violence. And so I think that this
What do Americans in general define gang violence as?
It's non-political.
I gotta tell you,
Would you like me to give you a article on that? Would you like me to explain that Americans feel that way, or?
Yes, I would like it in your own words. I would not prefer an article. I'd like it in your own words. You see, my opinion, first based on the facts, that when we talk on Clubhouse, and I said this yesterday, is that 85% of the people just listen. Only 10 to 15% of the people on Clubhouse speak, and so I encourage everybody not to confuse the 10 to 15% that speak with the 85% that just listen. You see, I think most Americans really don't care that much about what we're talking about. They care about paying their bills, they care about their household, they care about their family, and they care about a safe environment. They don't care about arguing over conservative and liberal and Democrat and Republican and blue and red. But if you want, you can tell me what you think and why I might be wrong.
So I feel like in what you've said already, you've projected a lot of like strange statements, but like I don't know what to like.
Well, they might be strange, but I maintain that they're true.
Okay.
And by the way, if anything that I just said, in your opinion, is not true, tell me what I said that's not true.
Okay. I don't know where you are putting your thoughts together in right now.
Hello, I'll tell you. I'll answer your question. Go ahead and go. Thank you. And then we'll move on. Where I'm putting my thoughts together, and by the way, you talked about age earlier. I'm 65 years old, okay? I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. I'm giving you a little bit of my history, okay? I've got a bachelor's degree from 40 years ago. I've got 35 years of experience in workers' compensation, employment, and labor law. But nobody on Clubhouse wants to talk about that. So instead, I've spent the past 4.5 years on Clubhouse speaking to people about current events, politics, God and religion, and the human condition. And I've spoken to thousands of people. So when you ask, where am I getting my thoughts from? That's where I'm getting my thoughts from. But I'd love to hear from you in a bit, but I want to give some other people.
Do you want me to give you a resume right now too?
If you want, you can send it to me. That's fine.
Well, I figured you wanted to do a credentialing because you were credentialing yourself.
The only reason why I was credentialing myself is because you asked me, where am I getting my thoughts from? You said, I don't know. You said, I don't know where you're getting. See, now you're interrupting me. You said, I don't know where you're getting your thoughts from. So I figured I would be honest, sincere, and answer your question.
Yeah, and I was offering that then if you are honestly and sincerely answering my question, that you would want to like actually hear my thought out, because you still haven't actually let me finish a thought.
Tell you what, take a minute and finish the thought. Nobody interrupt her, and then we'll move on. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, like, so, as I had mentioned, Americans at large, because I'm talking about the legal system, not our individual beliefs, the American legal system sees gang violence as senseless violence. It considers it senseless, and it considers it to be non-political. This is just what it's called in the legal world. Now, America is not just us talking on Clubhouse, but it's also a number of different systems that come together to actually work and function as a state. And so, that is what I'm trying to address, that this gang violence that happens between white factions of white supremacist groups should not be taken as though it is political violence, when they are actually just hitting each other this way. We don't do this to any other race.
You're going to argue.
Now let her take her 30. Let her finish up her 30 seconds, because I do want to move on. Go ahead, finish up.
We don't do this to any other race. We don't do this to any other community. And so white people should not play the victim card in this moment, and should understand that this is what senseless gang violence will do. It will lead to senseless violence.
You're being wholly and completely dishonest. Charlie Kirk, on the Republican side, led one of the largest grassroots organizations in the country that helped drive the youth vote out.
Tara, go on mute, please. Tara, go on. Thank you.
So did the Black Panthers.
Tara, go on mute, please. Second request.
At no level since Richard Nixon in 1970.
So did Mumia Abu Jamal.
I'm not done. You got mad at
Tara, last request,
Do
please.
you know who Mumia Abu Jamal is?
All right, okay, and let me just say this before we move on to Marshall. Tara, I gave you 3 warnings to stay on mute, and you didn't, and I'm terribly sorry. If you want to hang up, we'll bring you back again in about 5 minutes, but I don't know how long you've been on Clubhouse, but there's a general rule on Clubhouse all over the place that you don't interrupt the moderators. That's pretty much the same rule in every room, but Marshall, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it's a dishonest framing. It was clearly done by a guy who, for whatever reason, had animus or dislikes the guy. I don't really care which political party he ascribed to. The party of the shooter is unimportant to me. He then took a bolt-action rifle, set up a 200-yard shot in the middle of a political rally. I don't know in what context, in an assassination, which, by the way, if you're going to shoot 200 yards, far, far longer than voices can be heard over, you need to be a pretty decent shot, which means you have to practice and think about what you're going to do. So it was premeditated, certainly. That's what the state's charged him with as well. The other piece of this is, again, it was at a political rally done to a guy who leads one of the largest college grassroots organizations in the country that is famous for politics. They're not famous for just being white, or he's not famous for just being white. He's famous because of his politics. So it's clearly a political assassination. To say that it is not is to be genuinely dishonest in the framing. I'm not assuming that one is a dishonest person. I'm simply assuming the framing itself is dishonest because it doesn't adequately take into account his political status, the group he was a part of, or the people he was talking to at the time he was shot.
I would be curious to hear her definition of what a white supremacist is. I was actually wanting to know how, because she specifically said that Turning Point and he are affiliated were white supremacists. So I was just curious how she defines a white supremacist.
Well, affiliated is different because affiliated is different. You know.
But she specifically said his organization is.
Yes, she did, and we can bring her up in a couple of minutes. I got no problem with hearing her again. But Hanson is new and Ron is new. Hi, Hanson. You want to contribute? Hanson, would you like to? Hanson.
Oh, hey, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, go ahead. Hi. Go ahead.
Get to my phone. Yeah.
No problem.
So I just came in earlier, and then shortly, and I heard about the DI, and just want to say something about it. Before that, I also heard Susanna talking about Candace Owen and Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
And I'm not too familiar with the Candace Owen, but just the other day, I think on YouTube I just happened to happened to come upon her video memorializing Charlie Kirk, and so she said she was working very closely with Charlie Kirk on the founding or maybe actually founding of the Turning Point USA. So I don't know if it is employment or founder. So, but they are.
I like affiliated. That sounds like affiliated. I like that.
Yeah, and she also put out the videos how close they work together. So, just want to put it out there because it seems there is a controversy of how close they work together.
Hey, I've been asking.
Very, very, very close together.
I've been asking Abby for a job for years, and she'll only affiliate with me on Clubhouse.
Hanson, really quick, did you hear that I wanted my physicists to be Chinese? Did that insult you in any regard?
Well, that's your preference. Yes, sure, definitely. I mean, if that's your preference, that's fine.
Especially if you're into Chinese medicine and not Western medicine, right?
Yeah, but would rather you say that you want the best physicist to work with you.
Let's go to someone that I haven't seen in a long time, Ron.
Actually, I just finished it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The Candace Owen part because I just happened on that. But regarding DEI, I mean, I think it's DEI definitely is. The consequence of DEI definitely lowers the quality of the profession because if it is without DEI, the market pressure would have the press for the right amount of qualification, and then when you add in external pressure to filling the quota, affirmative action or DI, that definitely would lower the quality of the profession. Okay, I'm done speaking.
Let's go to someone who I haven't seen in a gazillion years. Ron. Hi, Ron. Long time no see.
Hey, Steve. I was browsing, and I'm a fan of yours, as you well know, and I'm a fan of critical thinking. So I thought I would tune in and see if there's any contribution I could make. So can I listen for a while and chime in?
Yes, absolutely. You sure can. We're probably going to be here till 6 o'clock. 23 more minutes. You can. Quing. Hello, Quing. If I'm pronouncing that right. Quing. Quing. Q-I-N-G. Q-I-N-G once. Oh, there he goes.
It's pronounced as Ching.
Ching. Well, thank you. I didn't know.
Ching or King?
Got you. Would any of the mods like to speak? Go back to the mods and then go on down the line. Mods.
Did you skip me for a reason, Steve, or are you?
Who is speaking? Who is speaking?
Zero.
Oh, Hero, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. No.
It's okay.
No.
I was letting more diverse people in the queue.
No. The only reason is my eyesight sucks. Go ahead.
That's okay. So I came up when you were sort of berating Arthur. Which I thought was pretty rude, dude. Like let a guy get a thought in there. Same thing with Tara. Like, the interruptions are really hard to listen to in the audience. So I just felt like I had to go. So I guess we kind of beat this to death with the whole pilot thing. Saying that you're concerned about the pilot's competence because he's black is definitely racist. You cannot smooth that over. If you don't understand how pilots are certified, then you just don't understand. You just don't know. So Charlie Kirk made a career being super confident about things he didn't know about, right? And that's a weird kind of DI program, like, just like puffing up the incompetent people for some reason. Pilots, just to get to the interview, a pilot has to get their private pilot's license. That requires 40 hours minimum of flying, plus a written test, then a check ride. Then you got to get an instrument rating. That requires even more of that stuff. Another test, another check ride. Then you got to get your commercial license once you get to 250 hours. That just lets you get paid. That doesn't let you fly big planes. Then usually people become an instructor. Then they start getting paid a little bit. And then they can get a multi-engine rating, then they can become an instructor on a multi-engine, then they can be an instructor for instructor. There are so many fucking steps to go through to become a pilot. Then you got to get to 1,500 hours to get your ATP. Then you can interview. So if an airline has a program to maybe go look for a few extra black guys or some women or some whatever to get them into the interview, I'm on Arthur's side. Like, get them into the interview, get them into the queue. It is really. So here's the thing: when I see it. And let's face it, we don't see this that often because flying is a pretty freaking white male thing. But if I see a black dude sitting in the captain's seat, my thought is going to be, that guy went through a lot. All the same requirements that the white dude went through, plus a bunch of bullshit cultural shit that guy had to go through. That guy is probably the most qualified pilot you're going to ever fly with. So to assume that because of his skin color, he's less competent is fucking racist. There's no massaging that.
Thank you. Hold it. I want to respond. How many times do I have to say it?
I just want to say something funny, Steve. Just relax.
Go ahead. Say something funny.
Did someone say massage?
Thank you. Hero, I'm going to vehemently disagree with you on only one thing that you said. Everything else sounded pretty cogent to me. But in my humble opinion, Charlie Kirk spent a lifetime doing exactly what he was excellent at, and that was getting people behind him to vote the way he wanted them to vote. And one clear example, and I'll use an analogy. You know, I'm an old fart. I'm 65. When I went to college in the late 70s and the early 80s, if you were a known Republican, if you were starting a Republican club, you had a sore thumb, you had a red flag, you were an outcast. Over 95% of the students that went to my college were liberal Democrats, okay? This is why Charlie Clerk was so good at what he did. He not only got people to like him, he not only knew what he was talking about, but he went to the colleges and recruited people on his side of the fence. He spent a lifetime doing exactly what he was very, very good at. But that's just my opinion.
See, like I said, he helped turn out the largest youth vote for the Republicans since Richard Nixon's historic landslide in 72. Which, for those who don't know, Richard Nixon is the high water mark for landslide elections. Believe it or not.
Steve Wee. Hi, Steve Wee.
Can I, when you time slot allows, can I?
Is that Hanson?
Yes.
Why don't you go after Steve Wee? Steve Wee. Hello, Steve Wee.
Hey, man, how's it going?
I'm just getting people attacking me left and right, but you know what? I fucking love it.
Well, the pinata is on, huh?
There you go. The pendulum swings both ways, baby.
Well, I kind of dipped out for a while, so I maybe I need to listen a little more to see what the flavor of the room is. Hey, Jordan, how's it going, buddy?
You got it. Let's go to Hanson, and then we'll go back to Taro, because I know she's been waiting patiently. Hanson.
Yes, thank you. Well, just say that saying the DI candidate maybe low qualified less is racism, then I would say that DI and affirmative action are racist policy in the first place. It's a systematic racist policy because it put the skin color as a qualification, the standard. So that is based on race. So that is obviously a systematic racist policy.
So the Supreme Court agreed with you clearly in the Harvard, North Carolina cases.
Yeah, exactly.
And also one other thing I wanted to add on those cases that I got also attacked for, just trying to state what changed in the law. When Justice O'Connor wrote her famous opinion on it, an affirmative action got established, and we come out of the Michigan case and moved forward as a nation. It had a shelf life. She specifically, in her opinion, it was a 25-year shelf life, and felt that within the 25 years, the country could adjust itself. And when the Harvard decision came out, where the Asian community had suffered damages and had suffered quite a bit as a result of that policy, more than any other, well, I could say that Jewish community also, the numbers went down substantially at those schools, but the Asian community, more than any, it was time for the expiration. And that also came into play as the Supreme Court made that decision. But it was most certainly based on skin color for those 25 years. And hopefully the Asian community will now start taking its place in these universities and having the proper acceptance that they deserve.
Yeah, and also it's very clearly lowered standard with admission scores lowering dramatically for the targets of DI and affirmative actions.
All right, now I was going to go to Yara, but she left. So let's go to Christian. Hi, Christian.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Oh, just getting attacked from all sides, but that's okay. if I'm going to be attacked, I want to be attacked by the Republicans and the Democrats both equally. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's completely fair. Well, I just wanted
You
to
know what that means, bud? It means I'm doing a good fucking job. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree. And in your words, I think you're doing a great fucking job.
Thank you.
No problem, man.
Did you want to say anything else, or just talk about me for a minute?
Oh yeah, spectacular. Yeah, for sure.
Do you care to hear what Taro put in the chat?
Yes. What did she put in the
What?
chat?
Sorry.
No. You got more, Christian?
Oh yeah, I do. Sorry, I just was coming out from outside, so apologies. Well, I did want to talk about a little bit about Charlie Kirk, and I don't know how many times this came up today, but Steve, I want to know, because I haven't talked to too many people about it. What have you seen? Because I've been hearing a lot of liberals and Democrats kind of like celebrating his death, and I've heard, that come from, a lot of Republicans. So I wanted to know, are people really just celebrating Charlie Kirk being dead? Is everybody just like, jumping from their seats, just so spectacularly happy? What have you heard?
I will give you the facts. Yes, some people are, and some people from both the right and the left. Most people are not. That's my observation. I believe it to be factually correct. Now, if we want to go to the law, which you didn't ask, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. Your speech to say that you're glad he's dead, that is protected speech. But where you cross the line is if you advocate someone today who's alive or tomorrow being killed or assassinated. That's inciting violence, and that is not protected speech. The speech of saying that someone who's dead, you're happy about it is, I personally think it's reprehensible. The message that me, Marshall, Denise, I assume all of the mods, we all agree. The message is simple. Under no circumstances whatsoever is it permissible, no matter what, to assassinate someone because of their words. If we can all get behind that very simple message, then we can move on. But if anybody says, well, what about this or what about that or whatever, I've got nothing less to discuss with them, because there's nothing else that I can say unless we can move forward from that point. That's my opinion.
And Steve, and I've been looking a little bit on the news, because obviously this is still a little bit of a newer situation.
Yep.
And they charged him with, I think it was multiple counts, but they the ones that I've heard of, at least charges wise, was aggravated murder and then felony discharge of a weapon causing deadly, outcome. Was kind of the charges that was given. And they have, or at least the prosecution has asked for the death penalty to be enforced, because in accordance to Utah state law, it is perfectly legal. Do you think that Mr. Tyler Robinson will indeed be facing the death penalty, or do you think that will not happen?
Let me just say this. To qualify for the death penalty, and Abby's more qualified to speak on this than me, when you are just convicted of second degree, or for that matter, even first degree murder, your chances are less likely of qualifying for the death penalty than if you have first degree murder with special circumstances. In most places, it has to do with a political motivation. It has to do with a hate crime. It has to do with killing a law enforcement officer or killing a witness. Those all can fall under the first degree murder with special circumstances. And of course, a lot of states don't have the capital punishment, but the ones that do definitely, I believe, first require special circumstances on top of the first degree murder. That's why it's so important that they got those added. That's my take.
Thank you. I don't think I have any other thing aside from one more question. And I was
Sure, go ahead.
I was here for a littlest bit of time. What exactly happened with the previous speaker earlier?
Which one?
I mean, I don't want to say by name, but
you can. Not the weekend. Go ahead. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah. I'm trying to recall her name. She was interrupting you a lot. It was pretty recent. It was probably like 10 minutes ago.
You must be talking about Taro.
Yeah. Yes, Taro. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we put her down for 5 minutes. We brought her back up. She stayed for 5 or 10 minutes, and then she left. when she left right after I said she would be next, so she didn't find the room enjoyable.
And that was the reason why that whole, like, basically outburst.
You'd have to listen to the replay. I can't regurgitate it all.
It was my fault, Christian.
Okay.
Well, it's always JCC's fault. You should know that.
Okay. Yeah.
Always JCC's fault.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go. Did we do Sean B? I think we did. Yes, we did do Sean B, or no? Sean.
Oh, I just got here. I just wanted to say
well,
hello.
Hi.
Hey, good to see you, Steve.
Good to hear you. Good to hear you.
It's an honor to be in your room, and hello to my fellow Californian in this beautiful weather.
Yes, Los Angeles. Yes.
Right. I'm a conservative. I was curious if you had any specific questions, because you mentioned, you like being able to ask conservatives questions. I mean, I can speak on.
I said I like asking conservatives questions.
Maybe not that. Maybe you said you like conservatives.
No. I'll tell you exactly what I said. Okay. I said I like to hear opinions from all sides in a respectable manner.
Okay. Yeah. The whole racist thing that I've been hearing about Charlie Kirk has been of interest to me, and I wanted to be quite honest. I haven't had the opportunity to hear anything that was racist that's come out of his mouth, but apparently he did have something to say about people of color and.
Let me tell you what I've heard and what I've seen. And again, I've learned more about Charlie Kirk posthumously than I did the entire time he was alive. Although I got his emails like 2-3 times a day, I just deleted them. His comments, whether or not they're in or out of context, come very, very, very close, if not going over the line of racism. But you can make an argument that they're not racist. Now, of course, what I've learned, I would never follow this guy. I would never quote this guy. he's just way out of the box on the Christian ultra-right, and very much borders on racist. But I'm sure a supremacist or a Donald Trump could make an argument that what he's saying is not racist. But for people like me, I find it pretty right there. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, and all I was going to say about it is I wish I had the opportunity to ask him that question and understand better if it was taken out of context. So I definitely look forward to checking that out, and if we're still having a conversation about it.
Yeah,
and next few days, I think it'd be interesting to understand that better.
Thank you. And when I hop on a plane, if I see the captain is black, I'm not thinking about whether or not he's qualified. I'm thinking about the same thing if I see a white pilot. When was the last time he drank alcohol, and did he get 8 hours of sleep last night? That's the only thing I give a fuck about. Moose. Hi, Moose. Moose.
Steve? Yeah.
Hey, Moose.
How you doing, man? I agree. I 100% agree with what you just said.
Thank you.
I know there's some folks putting some stuff in the chat, that he was involved with meeting with other black leaders, and apparently he even tried to organize some black youth to get to the White House. So thereby, he can say whatever. That gives him a parent license, as if he's like a black comedian and he can go up on stage making, jokes about the black community.
Yeah, I heard him and Elon Musk had a special spaceship that whipped him out at the speed of light on the other side of Saturn to Titan to go visit with the aliens and come on back. No, I'm just right. Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, exactly, and I think it's really the biggest hurdle for me, the biggest leap where people are trying to justify his comment. One of his infamous comments of saying civil rights was a big mistake, but people that are defending that, saying it's not racist, are really trying to do a time warp leap and fast forward to today to DEI. And I loved your example of the pilot, right?
Yep.
So back in civil rights era, you would never see Charlie Kirk would never walk onto any airplane and see a black pilot. He wouldn't walk into any business and see a black business owner. He wouldn't walk into any diner seeing black people sitting elbow to elbow to white people at the counter. Like we're like civil rights, Jim Crow. Like no, no, that's no. I think that's absolutely insulting to all the folks that had to experience those atrocities during the civil rights and Jim Crow era.
I gotta tell you, when I die,
say, well, I'm gonna be suspect, if it's a
I don't expect anybody to come to the funeral. Now, one person, maybe a couple.
especially
That's
the Black
about it.
Airline pilot. Like it's not
What I'm
like
trying to say is, you can live your life as the same, but
who's,
as you can see, after Oblivion,
having a tough time
this is
getting
how
work.
you're treated.
I'm just gonna.
He
I'm
was
just
a
gonna see if, modify the FAA and just to see if he can bypass all the years of training. And just just come on, do me a favor because we need to make those stats. We need to, we need affirmative action for black pilots. It's like that is the absolute him using that actually just kind of showed himself. It really did. If he said like, well, we need more, black executives in tech, that's more believable as far as actually trying to say, you know what, the black person, he's not qualified. He's just a black pilot because he's black. He just somehow magically got past all the FAA requirements and hurdles to be responsible for flying 300 plus people daily. It's so I appreciate you saying that, Steve. And it's to be clear, yes, I'm obviously on the left, but that said, I am vehemently against the bullet. That's not the answer. That's not the answer, and I don't care if the shooter was on the left or on the right. I'm 100% against killing someone for using free speech, but that said, I do have respect and empathy for the black community who are not shedding a single tear. Thanks, Steve.
Absolutely. And before we move on, let me just say this. I don't care what the color of your skin is. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I don't care what age you are, 18 or over. I don't care your religion. Everybody has the chance to be an individual idiot with me. All you got to do is speak to me for 5 minutes, and believe me, I'll tell right away if you're an idiot. Beaver. Hi, Beaver. Hi, Beaver. Beaver once. Beaver, don't trip over running to the phone. Beaver once. Beaver twice. Beaver 3 times. What a shame. Ron, we're almost at the top of the... Oh.
Steve, if it's okay, can I just add, because I feel like I didn't ever get to finish.
Yeah, tell you what, Susanna, hang on. No, we'll go over time for you. Let me go back to Ron first and see if he wanted to speak or if he still wanted to wait. Ron, did you want to speak or did you still want to wait? He probably wants to continue waiting, which is fine. By the way, Susanna, I see you have that party hat. Did you just join Clubhouse within the past week, or were you gone for a while in a new account?
No, I'm new. I have friends.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Just so you don't know, I just started doing these pop-up rooms, critical thinking after party. This is only the second time, but I've been doing the weekend show on Saturday, Ask Uncle Steve with the Mod Squad, and Sunday, Ask the Atheist for like 4 years. So hopefully you'll join us then. But please contribute now.
Okay, well, it would be my pleasure. I can see we actually disagree on quite a bit, but I appreciate how you are a moderator. Anyway.
You mean you don't think I interrupt too much? You don't think I'm stupid? You don't think I have a low IQ? Imagine that.
I've only witnessed you briefly, but no, I do not. But I do feel like I was interrupted before. But anyway, let me just say what I was going to say, continue where I left off. My point was not about where Candace stands and all of that. My point was, I feel that a lot of these things that Charlie Kirk said that are taken as racist are taken out of context. I believe there is a nuance for if it's based on DEI, and I don't think that's the same thing as being quite as much based on skin color. And really, the thing that I was trying to get at was he has done things. He started this thing called the Black Summit, and he's a leadership type program. I'm not exactly sure 100% what it was, but this program for youth, specifically aimed for black people, black children, and he's even taken young black people to the White House so they could tour. He's worked with a lot of black leaders. A lot of black leaders are memorializing him, and one among them is Angela Stanton King, who was Martin Luther King Jr.'s niece, and you can find her. You can find her on Instagram or wherever, and she called Charlie Kirk out for saying things about Martin Luther King Jr. And he did say Martin Jr. was a bad person, but he was feeling. But there's context there too. It wasn't because Martin Luther King Jr. was black. It's because he felt that he had some Marxist ideas, and so Angela Stein King called him out called Charlie Kirk out saying that wasn't appropriate. She didn't like it. But then when he died, not only did she say it's not right to kill him, she further said that he was a truth teller and that he spoke the truth, and she was with him on some of what he said, that they disagreed, but and she definitely didn't call him a racist. So I feel that people who knew him and people who did actually listened to him in full context and saw that he worked with black people. He has this guy that he knew since he was 12 years old, who's a black guy, who also was involved with Turning Point and different things. And he's talking out about how I've known him since I was 12 and I've always been black. And so, I mean, and I was saying before, because someone has one black friend, people go, oh, well, you can't prove they're not a racist. But I find it really hard that once there's an accusation such as racism, it's really easy to quote someone out of context and come up with a lot of evidence, especially when it's sound bites and it's little things, than it is to counter that. Once an accusation like that is made, it's really hard to say any differently, no matter what. And so I feel like it's really unfair that he says something based on DEI or whatever, but if you listen to him enough and listen to how he has helped or been there for the black community, and then see what he does say that seems racist, but in full context and full meaning. I don't know, I just feel like it bothers me because I feel like he's not being well represented, and people are judging him based on these partial truths, and that's what bothers me about it. And thank you for letting me get it out.
It is my pleasure. Before we move on, let me say this, that a lot of times when someone such as you says that I interrupt them, I let them go completely without interrupting them no matter what. I'll just take umbrage with one thing that you said, that he's not being fairly represented. And that is that although on Clubhouse and Facebook and X he may not be representative, he's got the president and the vice president of the United States representing him. And that to me is pretty powerful, but that's cool.
Can I add one thing to Susanna?
Let me just respond to that, and then you can. Let me just respond to that really quick. Yes, but also there's a lot of animosity towards the president of the United States these days. But thank you, Steve. I don't believe it was you that was.
No. I appreciate your contribution. Thank you.
Okay, and then whoever else
I
wants
just wanted to layer on also, as people, that's why I wanted the girl to define a white supremacist for me, because if she was defining it as someone who lines up with the Klan, I wanted to state how devastated the Jewish community was by his death, and we issued a statement from the Republican Jewish Coalition about how shocked we were and that we're grieving, and what a dear friend. We worked very closely with his organization in the last cycle, in the last election. The statement that we issued, I figure out how to put it in the chat, I just have the screenshot of it, was a beautiful statement talking about him being a fearless advocate for freedom and a supporter of Israel and the Jewish people. He was a friend. He spent a lot of time in Israel and also with our community in the United States. So just to piggyback, people can paint him with a very broad brush, as the girl did before, calling him a supremacist. But I wanted to share another minority community that is made up of white, brown, and black people that are all part of our community. And he was a very, very good supporter. So I wanted to add that.
Thank you very much. And what we're going to do now, because we're OT, we're going to let everybody that hasn't had a chance to speak, and then we'll be moving you down, no disrespect. So let's go to Hanson. Hanson, you want to take a minute and any closing thoughts, or are you good, Hanson?
Almost. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much good. But yeah, I'm just saying that the I mean, the market would have taken care of all the transactions and pricing, and the government going in there with a systematic racist policy, it can only make things worse. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanson. Appreciate that. Next up, let's go Necro. Necro, did you closing thoughts? 60 seconds. We good? Necro.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't listening.
That's okay. No problem.
I mean, I guess really it's like, to me, it's like, yeah, nothing really much from what I said earlier, other than basically that, yeah, it's like the same people who I've heard who have been saying that people should be in prison for celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Like, you have to remember, like, it's like that we celebrate the death of Nazis, the death of terrorists, and so the same, you know, right, that gives us to celebrate the death of our enemies, like, gives us to other people to celebrate the death. And yeah, it's like,
Thanks, Necro. Let's see. Steve Wade, did you want to say goodbye? Steve Wade?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out one thing about the pilot thing.
Yeah.
You know, I used to work for a Fortune 100 company, and I was the lead trainer and the senior operator of a very dangerous pipe chemical operation. And we had a DEI thing come in where people wanted to push this one particular person to start operating this plant, which had the capability to blow you to kingdom come. As the lead operator and chief trainer of the department, I warned them against it. They totally ignored my recommendation, went on to push them through. We had an explosion. Luckily, the explosion wasn't bad enough that no one got killed. People could have got killed. And they just totally ignored all the advice from the senior people that told them that this person was unqualified to be behind the controls, and luckily no one died from the incident.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. Let's see. Next, JCS. JCS, you want to say goodbye?
Oh, yeah, thank you. You know, I certainly think that Charlie Kirk held some racist beliefs, but he was a paid provoker. That was his job to provoke. Some things have been taken out of text. I think he's certainly far more known now than he was when he was alive. But again, that was his job as a political influencer. And so, you know, I'll leave it here in saying that, you know, we all hold biases. And so some people take advantage and weaponize them, exploit opportunities. Yes, he did that, and it would be expected of someone in that role. So it doesn't really surprise me, but he certainly didn't deserve to be dead. I'm done.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's try Ron. Ron, did you want to say goodbye or hello or anything, or are you good? We're closing down the show. Ron, you unmuted a couple of times. I muted you in the past minute. Yeah, hi. Did you want to say goodbye or are you good?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks. I've been tuning in every couple of days to Clubhouse and been very disenchanted with the quality of the discussions. And this session rehabilitated all of Clubhouse for me.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. It's good to have you back on board, and hopefully you'll come to the weekend show. I don't know if you've tried that, but Saturday and Sunday, going strong after 4.5 years, 7 to 10 a.m. PST. Love to have you. Thanks, Ron. And let's try Beaver. Beaver, do you want to say goodbye? Closing thoughts, Beaver. Beaver going once, Beaver going twice. Okay, Beaver. Well, thanks for joining us. Hope to see you again.
Leave it to Beaver.
Yeah, and I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong. You guys told me earlier. Xing, Zhang, Quang. Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
I just, I've been hearing parts of the conversation off and on, and I just, you know, I don't expect for people to feel things that don't impact them. I know that there are instances when they do and they respond to the full veracity or the full power that they have to organize and push back against people they don't agree with, even if whether they're being explicitly biased or not, that happens. But I just want to remind people to keep in mind, since we're about a generation removed, maybe 2 generations now removed from segregation, that if you review the record, even if you review the modern record, because these people still exist, when you hear people talk about their black friends, even their black children, right? We know that this is nothing new, that even in the deepest of southern towns, in the most segregated and virulently racist cities and towns, that people even would sleep with people that they would not have dinner with. They would be sharing literal blood relations and last names and all of these things. This is the American story. It is American history. And, by the sounds of it, I think that a lot of people, because they haven't been taught that history, we forget that, yeah, you can have a black friend and be a white supremacist. It's totally not only probable, it's totally feasible, probable, and all of that, because that's been the case since the beginning. I mean, black women nursed their slave owners' children. Our relations were that intimate when it comes to that.
Black slave women or their slave owners' children, such as Thomas Jefferson. Please continue.
Exactly. So, I think that as a person, a person who is a part of a marginalized group and have had to walk in this classification of myself all of my life in America, I will say that when I interact with people, and I would always withhold judgment until I hear how a person talks, because again, being that this is our history, we know the narratives, we know the tropes, we know the stereotypes. And so sure, if I hear a political figure using the same tropes and narratives that were spewed by David Duke, for instance, I might make that association, right? If I hear the same tropes, and again, these tropes are the same, about affirmative action, about DEI, which is not an affirmative action program, and applies to veterans, it applies to neurodivergent people. DEI is nothing more than a mechanism to enable corporations or any type of institution, if they decide that diversity is a core value for them, it enables them to measure how effective they are in creating that culture in their workspace. It's basically a way to gather and interpret statistics about how closely you are to living your values as you are to just saying stuff, right? So, and that is DEI, literally. It came out of the corporate citizenship movement that was really big around the early 2000s, which I guess, fuck that, right? We don't care anymore. Again, perhaps never did. Because
Are you sure that's where it came from? We don't have the time to go into where I think it came from, but are you sure? Okay, all right.
And I know that because I participate in several corporations that I've worked at. I've helped them, and I'm an engineer. I'm not a HR person, but I've had conversation with our C-suite officers about these programs.
I'm gonna give you 60 more seconds because
Sure. So empathy is putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, and so keep that in mind when you're hearing people talk about another person's capacity to do basic ass shit like fly planes and perform surgery and all of these other very
plastic, yeah, sure.
boom, like seriously, anybody can be mediocre, anybody can be an innovator, anybody can be proficient, period. And it has nothing to do with whether or not they've been excluded, because systematically that's the way a society performed. A lot of the engineers that are coming from India could not hold those positions because of the marginalization that happens in India because of their caste system. It happens. It's life. So, let's be real when we talk about, how to interpret people's views and not, forget our ability to compare and contrast when we hear these things, especially when it comes to the lionization of public figures, whether they're social media influencers or not. Call a thing a thing.
Thank you. And before we move on, want to remind everybody, I'm terribly sorry, I can't remember her name, but it was a black woman at the start of NASA that basically helped get them off the ground. Susanna, would you like a minute? Say goodbye. Susanna.
Sorry, still getting my.
That's all right. That's okay. No problem.
I had a few questions for the last speaker, and they're rhetorical. But just if you are against DEI, does that make someone racist?
I will answer that. For me, the answer is absolutely no. What's the next question from yours?
All right, thank you. And then the next one is, yes. Are we in the same place as we were in the year 2000?
I'll answer that one. In my humble opinion, the answer is no. Would you like to go 0 for 3 or 3 for 3?
No, I had a third one.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm blanking on what it was.
Hold
on, sorry. I wrote them down in the chat. Let me read it really quick.
You should have wrote them down on a Post-it.
Oh, and then the last one was, she mentioned how diversity is a core value, and I do think diversity is important, but not above and beyond merit and ability. So my last one was, is diversity a core value, and merit and ability is not? I think diversity should not be a core value. It should be a secondary, not core value.
Thank you. I'm going to move you down, and then I'm going to answer that one too. You don't qualify to be a fireman unless you can pull a 250-pound person out of a fire and safety. And for that matter, I don't care what the color of your skin is. I don't care if you're man or woman. If you can do it, you can do it. If I'm running a sales company and you're bringing me in millions of dollars in gross profit, I don't care what your skin color, religion, or whatever it is, as long as it doesn't interfere with business. But to answer your question, I always try and take everything in consideration. In fact, I'm having dinner with someone tomorrow, considering whether or not I want to recommend them to my boss for a job. Now, this is very important to me, because if the boss likes her and he hires her, it's a star for me. If the boss doesn't like her and wonders what the hell is Appel doing referring her to me for a job, then it makes me look bad. I'm going to take everything into consideration. Not the color of her skin, not her religion, but how she grew up, what she's been doing lately, what we can hopefully expect from her in the future, but most importantly, how she communicates. Does she communicate with a 6th grade talking level, 5th grade, like Donald Trump? Or does she communicate like a college-educated, on-the-ball person, even if she didn't graduate college? I take everything into consideration. So in that respect, I'm pro-DEI. I'm not what was the other one that was meant? Affirmative action. I don't believe just because of your skin color, you deserve an extra leg up. But if you take skin color, the way you were raised, what type of upbringing you have, and everything together, I'm totally pro that. So in that regard, my definition, I'm totally pro DEI. But that being said, Daryl, You were here at the start, then you left. You're here now. Would you like to say goodbye, Daryl?
Yeah, I wanted to say two things can be true as long as they don't contradict each other. As a matter of fact, up to 10 things, 100 things can be true as long as those 100 things don't contradict each other, right? And so I'm going to specifically to Susanna. Some of the stuff that was happening in the chat, Susanna, you kept saying that certain things were facts, right? And you know, a fact, according to Merriam-Webster, is something that is known or proven to be true. And I don't think you understand that some of the things you were saying were not actually facts. They're just your opinions on things, particularly the idea that just seeing someone doing a certain job, the assumption that they got the job through DE&I is not a fact, no matter how many times you say it's a fact, right? And then Steve, who left the room, comes up with this lame thing about an explosion at a plant in West Virginia that has nothing to do with pilots. So I don't even understand what the point was. It's just the idea that I am stuck in my position. I'm going to do the best I can to defend my position. Facts be damned. That's all I wanted to say.
Trust me, when people accuse me of interrupting, when people accuse me of being rude, when people accuse me of having a low IQ, trust me, it has nothing to do with my skin color, my religion, or the fact that I'm an old white Jewish atheist. It's simply because they don't like Uncle Steve. And with that, let's go to JCC. Would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, of course. Great room, great conversation, and so Steve looks for a good oral. So that's what I got for what you were saying, man. I was like, damn, Steve, you go. No, man, I love these conversations and a great room. Sorry, there's a few sore suckers out there that get rubbed the wrong way or whatever, but that's gonna be the case, right? But great room.
This ain't no echo chamber, baby. We encourage everybody to talk, but when you talk, you open yourself up to some Uncle Steve. Abby.
Yeah, last words.
Yeah.
Great room. I think that you have to look and take the temperature of the country.
Yep.
And 77 million people elected the president that's in there now. And Charlie Kirk had a lot to do with it.
Yep.
I applaud the various ball teams around the country that did a tribute to him, and I applaud the different concert venues that did a tribute to him. And there's a lot of Americans that are feeling this, and it's not a political thing that they're feeling. Someone was assassinated, and it hurts, and it just wounds our nation, and that's what people are reacting to. And let's hope that we heal through this wound, and we never have to experience an assassination again.
I agree with very little of what Charlie Cook stood for, but I feel pain that he was assassinated. Last but not least, Scott Jones. Jonesy, are you there?
Uncle Steve, great room. Thank you for the dialogue. I think it is interesting though that one of the things that so much of the rhetoric, and this rhetoric like this on both sides, right? Yeah. But so much of the rhetoric in the Trump era has been own the libs, drink the liberal peers, and Charlie Kirk was part of that. He was, as Dr. Jordan said, a paid provocateur, right? He was not always known for playing nice in the sandbox, and so now it's interesting. I think that's part of what made him popular, that he played the hardball, that he mixed it up and could get pretty in your face about it.
Do you think that's part of what makes me popular? I mean, we've heard some of the critics, legitimately so. I interrupt, I raise my voice, I have a low IQ. Part of that make me popular?
Uncle Steve, so much makes you popular. And if you've never had the real life Uncle Steve experience, you're missing out. I'm going to go back this year to Casa de Papel, do some of the show live.
If any of you want to buy me a martini and sit down and talk with me for an hour, I promise I won't interrupt you as much as I do on the show,
He's the man. Uncle Steve, you're the man. Yeah, but it's just interesting. I find it... Charlie Kirk made his life as a provocateur, and I think it's interesting that sometimes his defenders want to say nothing he said was provocative. I mean, it's kind of an interesting dynamic, but great.
He was an expert at what he did. Let me tell you, it really truly was. And with that, for those of you that haven't heard me before, I know a lot of you have. We do the regular show, 4.5 years going strong, Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Ask Uncle Steve on Saturday. Ask the Atheist on Sunday. It's run completely different than this room. We have clips, we have breaks, we have fun, we have regulars that come in, and we always starting in with the song. But in this pop-up room, we just started up with dead air, and we end it with this room will self-destruct. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Be careful on the clubhouse streets.
Yeah, Harry, I sent you a better version of your PTR. It's more brighter.
So, Heather, what's up? You came up. Let's hear it.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How was everything? How was the little girl? How's she doing?
She's good. She's almost 3.
4 now, no?
Almost 3.
Almost 3, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost 1 year on the way, 8 months, so it's everything different.
Yeah, thanks for asking. You here?
Thank you.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Hey.
Abby. Shlomi, I'm gonna be there. Bishvil Rosh. Be'acharei Rosh.
אחרי ראש?
כן. אחרי ראש. לפני יום. אחרי ראש.
אוקיי.
אני שם.
צריך למצוא זמן, אחרי סוכות ראשון I'm flying to Prague.
Okay.
So we need to find it.
Where are you going?
Prague.
Oh, nice.
Praha.
America, Canada. What's the name of that synagogue in Prague? The Oltanu? Oltanu? My Yiddish is not good. Oltanu.
I don't know. I'm probably gonna visit it, and when I will be there, I will let you know. I really don't.
I think it's like one of the oldest in Europe, but it's where the Golem is from. The whole mystery of the Golem is in Prague.
Interesting. I need to read about it before I go. Like to be like with knowledge about the place when I see things.
How much time will you have there?
It's we are going like 6 couples. 5 of them are from the Otef of Gaza, like the surrounding kibbutzes of Gaza that survived the 7th of October, and I'm coming as a hostage that survived it. And it's also groups of treatment, a little bit of healing, and it's I think for 9 days, something like that.
Long enough. I'm going to send you a link. There's an amazing. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
There's an amazing castle. It's about 45 minutes from the city, and it's where the family who Ferdinand, I can't think of the shot that started World War I, that family lived, but the guy was the largest collector in the world of suits of armor, and also he had, so the whole castle is lined with like tigers and bears and like just all the trophies from hunting. It's an extraordinary place. I'll find the link for it. But just the armor and the swords and the all the relics that are there are very cool. But it was the family of the guy who was killed that started World War I. Ferdinand something. I can't think of the last name.
Yeah,
Abby, here's a name for you. Could it be Gabrielle Princip?
No.
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 Different guy.
Who started who was the one that was shot? World War I.
Franz Ferdinand.
Around the world. Who?
Franz Ferdinand and
Thank you.
Gabriel Princip was the shooter.
Yeah, so that's his house.
Wait, were they friends? Franz Ferdinand.
Franz Ferdinand was Austrian Prince and Gabriel Princip was a Serbian nationalist.
But I'm seeing here that Gabriel Princip assassinated Archduke. He assassinated Franz Ferdinand.
Yes.
Heir presumptive to the throne of Austria-Hungary.
And where did Franz Ferdinand?
So Franz Ferdinand was the Archduke.
It was in Sarajevo. I'm 90% sure.
Yes, the assassination was in Sarajevo. So I'm trying to connect it to the Prague castle that Abby is talking about. I don't know.
Which castle?
Is it? What? Abby, are you there?
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Is it Ludwig's
What is
castle?
I'm sure she's right. I was trying to be helpful when I said Gabrielle Princip. I thought I was helping. But anyway, all right. Well, either way, it sounds cool. I mean, it's 45 minutes south near Prague.
I've never seen anything like this in all my travels in Europe. Living mountains, this place is crazy. Just what the guy collected.
I'm Googling this.
Was it in the middle of a forest?
Huh?
Was it in the middle of a forest in a very high, I would say, place or?
It's in a little town. It's actually a cute town to then after you tour it, you go have lunch.
Okay, here we go. The most prominent collection of arms and armor near Prague is found at Lobkowitz Palace, located within Prague Castle itself. This private collection is one of the oldest and finest in Europe, has 1,200 pieces from the 16th to the 20th century, including guns, cannon, armor, and mounted trophies. It sounds like there's a lot to do there.
Yeah,
Prague Castle.
All the stuff that he shot, there's all these bears and tigers, the taxidermy is insane in this place.
Sounds cool. Sounds like a great trip, Shlomi.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's something that we wanted to do and we're doing also.
Yeah.
To go to Prague, to see Prague. It's a beautiful place anyway.
No, I've been hearing about Prague forever. I've never been. Sounds amazing.
City, we're a country that helped so much in the founding of the state of Israel, and they've just always been supportive. Did you ever see Nancy Spielberg's movie Above and Beyond?
No.
It's about the founding of the Israeli Air Force and how these pilots that were U.S. veterans from World War II started the Air Force there, and they smuggled planes in, pieces of fuselage, pieces of planes, and there are certain countries they were able to use to get the equipment into Israel, and Czechoslovakia was one.
Did you ever see the movie Cast a Giant Shadow?
Oh my God.
Douglas.
God. Did I love that movie?
Yes. Yeah, that is a movie about a guy named Mickey Marcus, Colonel Mickey Marcus, an American Jewish colonel who came over to Israel to help start it.
We built the Burma Road, which is really. Have you ever taken the Jeep ride on the Burma Road? It's pretty cool to do.
Yeah.
It's neat, but Frank Sinatra was in that movie.
Yeah, it's like an all-star movie from the 60s. It's a biopic. It's a movie about this guy, Mickey Marcus. His full name was David Michael Marcus, and Kirk Douglas played him. And they got Frank Sinatra, John Wayne. All the cameos in this movie are insane. You remember there would be two movies like that. They would have huge actors in small parts. Yul Brynner, John Wayne, Frank Sinatra. I forgot who else. A lot of small parts in this movie.
A trivia thing about that movie, because I heard the interview. It was the first movie Michael Douglas had like a bit part in.
Oh my God! Wow, Michael Douglas was in it too. Wow. Now I'm pulling it up. I think it's time to remake that movie. Angie Dickinson. Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot she was in it too. It was a really amazing cast.
Yeah, it's time to remake it. Directed, yeah, Melville Shavelson. I never heard of him for anything else. See if we have anyone. Oh, Topol. Topol is in it. That may be it. I mean, there's a bunch of other names. I don't recognize them. But right there, that's like 8 big names from the U.S. or plus Topol. Yeah, Michael Douglas is in here, uncredited. He plays a Jeep driver. How about the movie Exodus?
Guys, I thought about something now that if the Palestinians are claiming every time that there are Jewish settlements inside their territory, so-called West Bank, but in every day they live among and they drive in the same roads. And let's say if we make peace, why they want those people that live there when they lived with them until now, like in a peaceful way, and they live together, village by village, that want them out from the territory because they are Jewish. So I can claim the same thing about the Arab villages that I have in my country because they are Arabs. Like this is anti-claims in like for my place, like they're literally will kick those people out from their land because they are Jewish. So why I cannot do it the same time when they are doing that for villages in Israel that are Muslim Arabs? But no, we are on high levels of laws from the world, and they're allowed to do anything they want.
What are we hearing about the other hostages? And I heard in the last 48 hours about trying to use them as shields. And Trump making a statement about
I'm going to sleep because of that. And, no, it's hard for me. And then Buttercup came here, and when we had a discussion, and she pulled me in, and for 2 hours of speaking, and I lost my sleep also. Now I'm trying to go sleep again.
Go to sleep.
It's almost 5 a.m.
Shlomi, get some sleep. Get some sleep. And I hope that everyone has now seen the face of Buttercup, and it's enough already.
It's not about Buttercup, it's more the hostages. And like I said,
know, but we don't need her to to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
it worse.
That's
No
right.
doubt.
No, I've asked a question.
She's not a good faith actor. She's not
Not at
acting
all.
in good faith.
Okay, let me answer Abby, Randy. Don't. She's not the subject, and we don't care. Let's move on from her. I just mentioned about my sleeping. She ruined my sleep also.
Try and
Anyways, it's
Yeah, Shlomi, we love you.
soon when I will feel tired to go. Wait,
Yeah,
it's okay.
You're gonna be sleeping the whole day.
I know. I am going to sleep.
So Abby, anyways, it's like I said earlier, you weren't here. I don't know if it's not the operation that they released me. I was still there, and I don't know how it with my wife, my father, my mother, my sisters, my two nephews. How do you say it for girls? Nieces, two nieces, beautiful nieces that I have, and the rest friends of and family that will feel when they know that it's probably the end. And it's taking a lot of thinking and praying inside to hear good news on the way when they're going in to find hostages and taking them back home alive. And I hope that Hamas will say, okay, let's stop, let's make a real deal that will be good for both sides, because there is the Israeli country also, and there is the people of the hostages, there is the life of the hostages and the lives of the soldiers on the battlefield. So we'll stop this war, because also I'm worried about those people. There are families that are worried also about their children that are in the battlefield. It's not only the hostages. Yeah, the hostages have the chance to die more than a soldier in the battle. Like, it's not comparable, but still there are families that also are worried about that are in the battlefield. So it's so complicated, and as I say, when they're asking me after I do tell my story to people when I'm going and lecturing it, that I'm glad it's not me that have to decide between lives of people, of hostages, or soldiers in the battlefield, and the states of Israel on the scales. I'm happy I'm not the one to take the decision for it, because it's a hard decision, and to make my opinion on it, it's hard also because I don't know what's on the table for real. But I know that anyway, lives of people are on the stake, like from here and there. If there's the hostages and if there's the soldiers. So to end the war as soon as possible, and just to give us some people back. That's what I want. My friends that are still dead, that I know personally, and the rest that are still alive, that I don't know personally. And that's it. We will end this fucking nightmare that is also already 2 years. Like, it's a nightmare. It's a big nightmare.
Thank you for the answer.
I have to leave you, lovely people, to all of you, and you have a kol hazman. I appreciate you.
Grateful for leaving.
Thank you. It's not about
Oh,
me.
my Abby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's about Israel. It's about the country.
Where is Abby?
It's about us.
You can mud me if you want to keep the room open.
Yeah, please. Yes? Did I make the right one, Jay?
Perfect.
Shlomi,
No problem.
it's good to hear you, Shlomi. I'm glad you came in here. Please.
Yes. Shlomi.
Shlomi trying to get some sleep.
Yeah.
I will smoke another joint.
Alright, if you can't.
Okay, Shlomi. Do what you have to. Thank
Shlomi,
you
we're
for
still
sharing.
here if you want to talk.
לילה טוב, שלומי. Thank you.
Good night, good
תודה
night.
רבה.
Good night. Good night.
Abby, you're out.
I'm going to be in, where the restaurants are here. It's pretty noisy where I'm about to walk. So I'll be a little bit in my car ride. And Caleb in the audience, how about those Phillies?
Did they win?
We're just talking. They're going to go in the postseason. I mean, it's a good time to be a Philly sports fan. The last few years.
Abby, the thing